I want to know what it's like for you, or maybe what's different in year 2 in this job versus year 1.
A lot. Yeah, what a difference a year makes. I think anytime you take over, you have ideas, but they're really just ideas. You don't know if they're going to come to fruition. I'd been doing it a long time, and I think this was my maybe 4th time taking over a program, 5th time. So I thought I knew. The kids bought in early. They were fantastic. I thought we'd be pretty good defensively. We ended up being a little bit better than I thought we would be defensively. We didn't have a lot of depth, and we didn't have a lot of size. We didn't have any really injuries. We kind of dodged a lot of that and survived and ended up having a really good year 1.
Well, as you mentioned, you've taken over programs and you've kind of gone through this process before. Obviously, every situation is going to be unique, but what are sort of the cornerstone things that you try and implement with your programs?
Yeah, I think you have the off the court, the core value, the non-negotiable type things that have carried over from job to job, and those have stayed the same and always will. Those are the easy ones. As long as the kids will buy in, they're easy. And then I think you have an offensive identity, a defensive identity on the floor. Again, I thought defensively they bought into it really quickly. We ended up pressing a lot. That's something we've done in the past. But again, it takes on really a life of its own each year based on the personnel that we have. If we want to speed teams up, we can do that, which we did last year. We could use it to slow people down if that's what the game or the team needs. And then we need to get a little better offensively. I think we were like 40th in the country on the offensive end, which isn't bad. But some of the best offensive teams, national championship level teams, are obviously in the top 10 or 20.
Last season, you guys came to Provo, and that was the only visit between these two teams. This season, BYU will come to Morgantown to play. I want to ask you, what do you remember from that game in Provo?
Tough, physical, was kind of ugly at times. We slowly figured it out. I didn't love us early in that game, maybe even at halftime. I felt like we walked in a little frustrated, but then I thought we settled in a little bit more in the second half and kind of played a little bit truer, brand. Yeah. But I had played there before at a previous school, so I had been there. So I kind of knew a little bit of what to expect.
JJ getting the preseason All Big 12, so impressed with what I saw with my own eyes with her. Talk to me about your team and the makeup of this group and what gets you excited about what's possible with this team.
Yeah, I think you start with 4 of our 5 starters are back and 6 of the top 8. So there's some continuity, which for those kids is a great thing because they hadn't had it at West Virginia, with 3 coaches in 3 years. So that was priority A. I feel like we've added some good pieces. So we've got some transfer kids, but we also added 3 freshmen. A year ago, we did not have a freshman. So that was a little bit different. So we've added some youth and so there's some balance, there's some depth that we didn't have last year. I think you'll see a similar brand if you came and watched us play a year ago. I don't think we're not going to just pull a 180 and go play completely different.
Right.
It will look somewhat the same, but again, like I said, I hope we're just a little bit, in the half court. When possessions, minimize later in the year, we needed to be a little bit better, so hopefully we can do that.
Okay, so as I mentioned, BYU is going to be coming to Morgantown. This will be my first trip to West Virginia and Morgantown, so I'm excited to sort of experience it. I guess maybe have you play sort of Chamber of Commerce here.
Sure.
What are some of the must-see and must-do things in the area? Places to eat, of course.
Yeah, we can do that for sure. I mean, if you were coming spring, fall, summer, you have to go to Cooper's Rock. So that's about 15 minutes maybe from campus, and you're going up the mountain, as we say. They're not like your mountains.
Not like the Wasatch Mountains.
Not quite there, but and it's just an overlook that's just absolutely gorgeous with the river, and I mean, it's West Virginia at its finest. So normally that's what we would always say. You can still go. It just may not be quite as pretty. It might be a little chilly in the winter. There'll be enough to do. It's a college town for sure, through and through. Morgantown is. If you want to go eat, depending on what type of food you want, Italian food is big throughout the whole town. So Oliverio's is a good place. If you want like the steak, wine, go to Stefano's probably, or Bartini Prime.
Okay.
So that's probably the 3 that I would recommend the most.
What's your go-to Italian dish? It sounds like you probably enjoy the Italian food.
Well, I've learned to there because that's the.
You got a lot of it there?
We got a lot of it.
So what is your go-to?
I mean, I can always go lasagna, like Oliverio's bakes it every day. If they run out, they run out kind of place. So there's sometimes I've tried to order and it hasn't been there. I'm kind of more like lasagna, maybe chicken parm, That's probably my go-tos more than anything else.
I need to remember not to do the food questions right around lunchtime.
Yeah, right, that'll get you.
That'll get you every
mouth
single time.
watering now. Yeah, you start to wheels turn.
Seriously, now I'm thinking about Italian food. All right, last thing. And obviously last year there was 4 teams coming in. This year, 4 new teams coming in and 2 teams leaving. What do you make of this conference in, its second year of transition like this?
Yeah, and I think we talked about maybe this even last year, as I didn't know anything last year. I know a little bit more, but still I don't know that we know everything yet. But I think we've added some really, really good teams. 3 of those 4 that are coming in were in the NCAA tournament, tradition-rich in women's basketball. I think we're getting some really good coaching coming into, great programs, great cultures within their programs. So I think we're just the strength in numbers, stealing some of the the lines from the NBA. But I think there is a strength in number. I think we've legitimately got 10-ish teams that can make the NCAA tournament. And so I think we've made it a little more difficult. Travel's going to be unique and different. Now, we've always been the geographical outlier, so I just keep saying, well, just add an hour to the flight we were already taking, I guess. And then for us, I think we have 3 of those road trips where we'll stay out for the whole week.
Yeah.
So, the 5-day road trips, so we'll have 3 5-day road trips. So we took 2 last year, so I think we kind of know what that looks like, but not completely. I think where it gets a little tricky is like when you're really trying to determine a conference champion and you've played a completely unbalanced schedule. I think that's hard. And then the seedings for the Big 12 tournament get a little skewed when you don't have like a true round robin. But we don't have any choices. There's no options to it,
Sure.
But it just kind of messes with that seedings a little bit.
Yeah, still a year 2, last year it was sort of a feeling out process, and with 4 new teams coming in and losing Texas and Oklahoma, it's kind of the same thing. So eventually, knock on wood, maybe things will settle down, but hey, it's college athletics these days, right?
It is, and I would like to think so, but the way it's going, I'm not going to believe it for a second until it's all set.
All right, well, Coach, it's always great to talk to you. I'm gonna suggest that the BYU team, when we come out for the game in Morgantown, that we hit up some Italian food, because now that's exactly what I'm craving.
Yeah, let me know. We'll be able to. We'll steer you the right way. I promise.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.